What is common knowledge that you found out way too late? Condoms are cheaper than diapers. Why would you use a diaper as a condom? So she can feel something. There's no rules to doing chores. You can make it more fun if you want to. For no reason I forgot that I could watch a TV show while I fold laundry and I didn't have to just sit there and do it. Never make an important decision if you are hungry or horny. Both have a massive impact on your decision-making abilities. Always eat before food shopping. A pony is not a baby horse. Time goes by fast. I thought islands were floating landmasses for way longer than I'm proud to admit. No sure if common knowledge, but Win plus left or right snaps window to half the screen. Handy when you are referring to two different documents or websites at the same time. I learned that last month. Don't let the in-laws move in. There are no vineyards at Martha's Vineyard. Flammable and inflammable mean the same. Found that out the hard way. That you need to regularly check and top up the fluids in your car. I bought my first cat at 16, a cheap old beater, and knew nothing about cars other than gas makes it go. Found out the hard way that it had other required fluids that I had neither checked nor filled. Broke down on the highway and fucked up my engine. Fluidable wipes are not to be flushed ever. Should be illegal to call them that. When tying your shoes, the direction of the loop before you knot matters. Most of my life my laces were constantly getting loose throughout the day until well into adulthood. Basic living skills. My parents were hoarders and neglected me growing up. We lived in fifth and wore dirty clothes, rarely bathed, etc. So I never learned what goes into keeping a house clean, or good hygiene practices, or the basic skills needed for normal life. I know in theory how to do those things now, but the underlying core organizational, management, etc. skills still aren't there. It's kinda hard to explain, but it just feels like there will always be a gap for me. Headaches, sluggishness, and crankiness are all signs of being hungry. I took medication that made me lose my appetite, and I'm not very good at recognizing different types of hunger cues. Feeling especially sad, anxious, or guilty late at night means I got to go to bed. Didn't figure this out at all. I saw the phrase, never trust how you feel about your life after 9 PM, early this year, just before I turned 25. It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness, that is life. Netflix and chill does not mean watching something on Netflix and chilling. Exactly like WTF I found out like a few weeks ago. I've said it to so many people. I'm like 90% sure I've told somebody I'm going to Netflix and chill with my dogs before. The workplace is not a meritocracy. That incompetent moron is going to get promoted. Before you get promoted, deal with it. No one really cares about you. I don't mean that in a bad way. But everyone is so busy thinking about themselves, you are always an afterthought. The most embarrassing thing in your life probably doesn't matter that much to someone else. You can actually download the entirety of Wikipedia. Left loosey, righty tighty. That made my life so much easier. That you can get pregnant the very first time you have. That people are saying quote unquote when quoting someone, and not saying quote unquote. I was thinking while driving about a month ago and it suddenly hit me. It took 30 years. Stripper poles themselves spin. Got drunk, ended up having a stripper bet me I couldn't spin on the pipe on the pole, so dumb me climbs up there, grabs the pole and flings myself as hard as I could. Well, I ended skidding across the stage. Been a long running joke now. Don't drink then bet a stripper when they are bored. It was like 3 in the afternoon and me and my friends were the only ones there. Life can literally change forever in the next second, hour or day, and that when people say to enjoy every moment of life as if it's your last, it's actually good advice to maintain a positive attitude and feel like you have no regrets. Tell the police nothing, tell the paramedic everything. Don't go to Vegas when you're broke. The direction of the arrow next to your car fuel indicator lets you know what side your filling point is. If you've been chopping chilies, wash your hands well before you touch anyone's genitals. If you're not wearing a tie, you don't button the top button of a dress shirt. Let's just say I looked like an idiot at my first internship at Mayo. That K9 comes from K9. Gorillaz is the guy from Blur. I don't know if it's considered common knowledge at 12 years old what a circumcision was. I'm in 7th grade. This dude asked if you could circumcise. Me being 12 and having come from a private school, I thought circumcise meant to make smaller. One day in English class, I don't know why, but I said, "Can you circumcise a nuke?" Like the bomb load enough for the whole class to stop what they were doing and look at me. This girl starts laughing and says my name, and I just say what? The teacher took me out of the class to the hallways and asked if I knew what I said. I repeated what I said to her face, adding "you know, like make smaller." Then she tells me everything I need to know, and I'm so shocked and embarrassed. We go back into the class and that girl asks if I know now. We all just laughed. You can preserve fresh vegetables by getting plastic containers and putting paper towels on the bottom and the top. It absorbs the water. It's the water from condensation that makes them go bad so fast. Then just change the paper towels every few days and wipe out the container. Makes them last way longer. I wonder how I'm not dead, that I did not know this. If she starts moaning and squirming, don't stop or change what you are doing.
Oh yes, Daddy.
How much truth there is to the phrase, "You would rather have it, and not need it, than need it, and not have it." I wish I didn't think sex was so important into my mid-late 20s. I wish someone told me that going out to bars and clubs wasn't all about hooking up. That the night's success isn't gauged on whether you met someone, got a phone number, made out, or took someone home. I didn't even have any chick friends on my teams. None of us in my group and other groups I knew had. Girls and guys were separate. I moved to France from Ireland and was so surprised that you could just be friends and hang out and have a good time. So much pressure growing up and such time wasted. My girlfriend found out at age 15 that you can breathe out of your nose. She has a lot of allergies and has never been able to. Pickles are made of cucumbers. Live Christmas trees require water in their base or they die and turn brown. Saving money early in life is a really good idea. Effort doesn't equal result. A spendthrift is the opposite of a thrifty person. This still feels uncomfortable to me. Self-love and being a little selfish. Holding down the A button doesn't make it easier to catch the Pokemon. But I still do it anyway over 25 years later. If you're not looking out for yourself, people will try and take advantage of you. Managers to cell phone carriers, don't expect anyone to give a shit about your needs over their own. Life doesn't get easier, you get stronger. Watermelons don't grow on trees. They obviously grow in water, silly. He doesn't like you because you are mature for your age. He likes you because you aren't. Don't ignore bullies. That's terrible advice. The only way they will leave you alone is through the sight of their own blood. Don't put eggshells or coffee grinds down the garbage disposal. They seem like such great candidates. Most of the arguments over text makes things worse. If it was face to face, most of the arguments would seem like it's nothing. People are the people you work with aren't your friends. Always keep your guard up. Any and all of them can throw you under the bus at any time. That after high school it's incredibly hard to find real friends. Apparently you're not supposed to rinse off your toothpaste. Edit, just Google it. Apparently it's better to leave the toothpaste residue in your mouth, so the fluoride can work on your teeth. Most probably, if you hate someone, or maybe strongly dislike them, you do end up having one or two traits similar to them. Alcohol isn't worth it. New Zealand is not in Europe. Do not trust the police, they are not your friends.